Okay guys, hello guys, welcome back to another stream. I just went ahead and checked if we are live or not. It seems to be we are in fact live. So hello guys, welcome back to another stream. So today's stream, what we're gonna do is basically make the snake game. So you can basically play it, it's fully playable. And this is a small project that we'll be doing live on stream today. So yeah, hello. Say hello to me if you want to. And yeah, that is pretty much it. This is a fun little game that you can make. So yeah, let's go ahead and make it. So before doing that, I also want to pull up chat. Oh, okay. Okay, there we go. So I also want to pull out chat here. If I could just pop out chat, like I think I could hold up. Okay, there we go. I have chat pulled out on my second screen here. So let's go ahead and build that. I hope you guys are excited. If you are, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And with that said, let's get started with the stream, shall we? Okay. So the first thing that we have to do, and here I can just type our boilerplate code. So this is our boilerplate code for our game, right? And the first thing that we have to do here is actually make our grid, right? But actually, before that, we have to set up our style tag. So there are a couple of things that we have to do. Is the first thing is to get our font awesome link, right? So I'm just gonna do link, right? And relation, I'm just gonna use style sheet. And here we can do href, and inside this we can put our link. So but I don't have the link on me, so I'm just going to Google. So I'm just going to do font awesome Cloudflare link. So if we do that, I think we should be, I can probably get the link somehow. So there we go. So I got the link. There we go. So I'm just going to quickly paste it right here. Right, so this will basically allow me to use font awesome icons in my project. So let me just quickly test. So I can just do itag. I can give a class of FSFA. Let's do users. And there we go. You can see that I have the icon with me right here. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can actually see a little better. And the second thing that I need to do, I need to pull out is the font link. I'm just gonna go to Google Fonts and I want to search for Baloo. So that is what we're gonna be using. I'm just gonna do Baloo, right? Baloo 2. Now I can just do get font here, get embedded code, and I want the link tag for this. I'm just gonna copy that, come back to our code here and just paste it right here. So this is what we're gonna do. So this is the code for our font. So with that, I think we should be ready to make other components. So that after that, what we have to do is, by the way, we are using Coded Labs. So this is our own online compiler. And one of the features of this is you don't have to link your style sheet as you would used to, like normally would do in your normal VS Code project, right? It is automatically linked. So whatever you type here, you can directly just write CSS for it right here. So it's very convenient. If you want to, you can check it out, right? So the first thing that we have to do is we have to make div, right? We are going to make div. So we'll do div, and inside this div, what we have to do, I'll give it a class of game card. So how it will probably be made is we'll basically make a 20 by 20, which is total of 400 pixels of boxes, right, where the snake can spawn and also the fruit can spawn. So that is how it will go, right? So before that, we have to make other stuff. So we can just do h1, right? Inside h1, I'm gonna put snake game, And here we can do a class FAS. We can do a class of FA solid, right? And also give it a FA of warm. So this is how it will go. So this will basically give us the textile, also give it the snake icon, right? So with that said, we can style it pretty much right now, but before that, actually, you can just probably put this into icon tag. That is probably a better idea. So I made a mistake here. I was supposed to put this class inside a icon tag, not a h1 tag. H1 tag is not closed. I kind of messed up here. Hold up. And after this, we can probably do it. So that is how it'll do it, right? And after the h1 tag, what we can do is make the scoreboard. So this will basically be categorized into a few different sections. So we have your game card. Everything lives inside the game card div. You have h1 tag, which is the header, right? Your scoreboard, which basically shows what is your current score. Next is the actual game board, which will basically be making from JavaScript, because hard coding, it kind of does not make sense, right? Because we also have to figure out, we have to re-render the game component every frame. And also have to put a message saying, like, if if let's say you died, you can just let the user know you have died. If I show you here, so this is the message, right? And this is the button that will make to start the game. And then just a small message saying user arrow keys, letting the user know that you have to use your arrow keys. So that is how we will basically make this. The next thing, as I said, is the scoreboard. So let's make a div. So this div will hold. Let's just call it scoreboard, right? And here we can just use icon tag like this, and we can use icon tag. I can give a class of FA solid, and I want a trophy icon. So we can just use FA trophy. That will give me a trophy icon. Now inside the trophy, or inside the icon tag, sorry, I can use a score. So we can use a score, just basically, set this as score. Now we can put this inside a span tag. So I'm just going to use span tag here, right? Just do span. Now this should be outside the div, otherwise it will just make the letters look there. There we go. I will do span, and also inside the span tag I can actually get the thing. So there we go. Span is 0 right here, right? And I can give it a class of, not class actually. The reason why I don't want to give it a class is because this is the value that we'll be getting through JavaScript. So it's better for me to give it an ID. So I'm just going to give it an ID of score. And another thing that you can do with giving an ID is if you use an ID on HTML element, you don't actually have to do that document.getElement by ID, right? You can just type out score and it will just work fine. It's just one of the features you can do. You can try it out if you want, right? So after making the scoreboard, we have the actual game board. Now we are just going to make the div because we'll do the rest of the work in JavaScript. So we'll just do sorry, I'm just going to use I'm going to use ID. I'm just going to give a game board ID, right? Makes sense, I know. Very creative. So next is paragraph tag. So we'll set a paragraph tag here. Now the content for this paragraph tag will also be set through JavaScript. So I'm just going to give it a message, right? So we can grab it through JavaScript. And next is button. So I'm going to make a button tag. So the button tag will just say start game. Very, very simple, because this is the button that will start the game, I know. And we'll just do a class. Actually, I can just, don't want to give it a class. Probably I can just give it an ID. I'm just going to do start button, right? And also another finishing touch I can do is I can give a icon for this. So I can give it a play icon. So I want it to be solid, and also I want it to be a play icon, right? There we go. So next thing that we have, and the last thing that we have for HTML is basically our paragraph tag. So this basically will be a um, small paragraph tag saying use the arrow keys to move. So very, very simple. Now here we can just do class. I can put a hint, also add an icon here, probably. Do, wow, is this HTML? Yes, it is. Sayam, welcome to the stream. How are you, man? How do you get the icons? You can get the icons by this thing right here. So it's basically a style sheet of Cloudflare. It's basically Font Awesome link. You can also use it your own that Font Awesome provides you when you make an account. Or it's usually a script tag, if I remember correctly. But usually you can just import the style sheet, right? There we go. So the thing is, if I just cut this out, the entire icon, the icon will not work. There we go. There we go. You can just simply Google it. This is what I did on stream actually, right? And you can just Google font awesome icon link, right? You can just do CSS. I will give you a link tag. Here we go. So this is the link tag. You can just Google this. AI overview is pretty, sometimes it's fine. Most of the time it's wrong. So it's whatever. But yeah. So next thing we have to do is we're probably done with HTML. So we can probably move on to CSS, give it a little bit of styling that everybody loves because nobody likes to see this, right? When you move on a website, if you just see HTML, run. That's just how it is. Okay. So the next thing we have to do is style this thing. So with every website, we can just call all, which is asterisk, right? Which basically means this CSS property will get applied to everything. So I'm just going to put the box sizing to be border box. Now next thing is HTML and body. So for HTML and body, selecting that HTML elements, and we're just going to give a height of 100% and then overflow to hidden. Now the reason I do this is sometimes what happens is if you don't specifically specify 100%, of course, the actual height will only be limited to around here since HTML, all of the things just, end there. And if I don't do overflow hidden, since it has the height to 100% and also the content, it can be scrollable, which I don't want it to be. That's why I'm using overflow hidden. Next is body, right? So for body, I can just give background to be a kind of a greenish color, as you saw in the background in the beginning of the stream. So I'm gonna do 223. I have the hex color code with me right here on my second screen. So this is the thing, this is the color that we'll be using. Now, right now it doesn't look nice, I know, but like, we'll just put the color, which is the text color, to be a kind of a whitish color. So I also want to check if I'm charging or not. Sometimes my laptop does not charge, so. And there we go. So I'm gonna set the color to be kind of whitish color. Next is font family. So font family, I'm gonna do Nunito. Right, it's very good. It's very like, I would say it's a fun color, like fun fonts, right? I don't think I have it right with me actually. Oh, it should be fine. This should be fine. Okay. Okay. So Nunito will be the first. If it doesn't work, the fallback will be Arial because it's the second best font that you can probably get, right? And next thing is sans serif. The third, there we go. The next is text align. Text align, I'm going to put it to center. Also do margin 0 to make sure there is no margin. Now next is padding. Now padding for body will be around 15 pixels for all wide, right? And display, I'm going to do flex. There we go. We can do display flex. Also do align items and align content. Align items, set that to center. Also do justify content center. There we go. Next thing that we have is the game card. So we'll do game card and max width. I'm going to scroll down, right? Max width, I'm going to do about 460 pixels. I'm going to do width. I'm going to set that to be around 100%. W is in the chat, but W explanation. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Next is margin bottom. So, okay. So we have our first game card, right? Now we have set the margin to be 0 and auto. I'm going to tell you why in a second, right? So we have background color to be around the same color, but a little bit lightish. So I'm just going to do 2D, right? 4A and probably 2D. So this is what we'll be using. Next is border radius. So we'll use border radius about 20 pixels for that container. There we go. Right? I think I accidentally pressed insert. There we go. Okay, so next is padding. So we'll do padding about 18 pixels, 25 pixels, and 22 pixels. There we go. Next is box shadow. So box shadow we'll do 10%, 20 pixels, 25 pixels, and RGBA, set that to be 0.35 as the alpha value. So it's kind of a grayish color, right? Next is the border. So for border, I'm just going to do 1 pixel solid. I'm going to use the same, but even lighter, so the border is actually visible. Making a darker border kind of doesn't make sense, so I'm just going to use a lighter one instead. We'll do 3D, 5F, 3D. There you go. It's a little lighter, I would say, right? Okay, so next thing that we have is the H1 tag, which is this right here, right? So you have to style this. I'm going to call the H1. The reason why I do just directly is because we only have one H1 tag, so it doesn't really matter. We'll do font family. I'm going to use the Baloo font that we have. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I hope I am. I'm going to use cursive, right, as the fallback. And font size, we are just going to, not font family, font size. Font size, we're going to do 28 pixels, and also do margin, set that to 0, 0, 10 pixels, right? Now here I told you I would explain why we did margin 0 and auto. Now the way that CSS works, or how general this works, is we are making sure, you see this, how the game card shrinks, right? We have set this so that max width it can go is 420 pixels, right? Which is this right here. Now, the game card is basically the main div, right? The main div, so everything here. So if I increase this value, let's put 700, it's more wider. But the thing is, even in a really big screen, you would not want to make this just really too big. But another thing about having a max width is that you have a max width for this. However, in margin, right, if you want to shrink, you also want this container to shrink. So this is done by just giving this. We're saying that width is 100% for, with respect to 460 pixels. So 100% is 460 pixels. And we have margin 0 auto, which basically sets the margin on top and bottom, which is y-axis, to be 0, and auto for x-axis. So it will just automatically change the margin while the thing just shrinks. So that's how you make it responsive. So that is the concept for that, right? Now this is done multiple times in a lot of projects that we have made. If you haven't checked that out, you can also check it out, I guess, in our channel. Okay. So next thing we have is letter spacing. Now since it's H1 and it's kind of big, so I'm just going to put letter spacing to make it look even better. So I'm just going to do a letter spacing of 1 pixels, right? A little bit more gap, and do color. Now color, I could probably just copy paste one of the yellowish color that we have, but let's type it out. So we'll do FFD166. So it's kind of a yellowish color. Next thing that we have here is H1I. So H1I is basically this icon right here, the snake icon. So we'll do H1I, and we can just select that. Now here, we're going to use a greenish color. So just do 7BC9. We can do 7B6, BC, and 96F. I messed up again. Oops. There we go. And here we'll do font size, set that to be around 28 pixels. Also do margins, set to 0, 0, and 10 pixels. Also do, that should be fine, right? Actually, I don't need margin here. I need a margin right. So we'll do margin right, about 8 pixels. There we go. That should be fine. Now, next thing is the scoreboard, right? Now, before making the scoreboard, I actually want to make sure that we have rendered the board, right? Before we probably do that, I guess. So here, what we're gonna do, go to our JS, right? So we're gonna first get the board. So we'll do board equals to document dot get element by ID. So we'll do get element by ID. We'll get the game board. So we'll just do game board. And here we'll also make the box variable. So box variable is basically a box of a width, right? So the box will be 20, so 20 by 20 grid, so a total of 400 boxes. So we'll just do box size, that will be stored on board size. Board size will be 400. And let score, which basically will be our current score, let's say that's a 0. Oops. Okay, that is not how it's supposed to work. There we go. The next is snake. So we'll do snake equals to. So how the snake will basically make sense is snake will be an array of objects, which each object holds the position of x and y coordinates. So this is 1 because snake has to at least start from 1 pixel, right, or 1 box. So it will be 9 times box, right? It will be 9 times box, and it will be same for y. It will be 9 times box. So it will be exactly at the center. So the center coordinates, right? So we'll just do box right here. And there we go. So next thing is the direction of the snake. So we'll basically we'll hold a value of direction, which will basically hold the direction of the snake, the current direction of the snake. Is it up, down, left, or right, right? Next thing we have is the food. Now, how it will work is we will have a food, right? Basically random food. So like food has to be random. That's how it kind of works, right? The food has to generate in a random position. So that will basically hold the food. Now, random function does not exist, I know. So for now, I'm actually gonna not put it here. Or actually, even better, I'm just gonna comment this part out because it will just give us error because random food function does not exist. So next is game. The game, I'm just gonna put this to null for now. So the first thing that we have to do is make random food. So the function random food, right? Random food. So the way this will work is it will generate 2 things. One is const y, which will be the food, the x coordinates of the food. So we will use math.random to generate a random number. So this function will return us a value from 0 to 1. So we'll scale it by 20 since our box size is 20. And we will just multiply this, or not multiply, we'll do math.floor, which will kind of round off because round off this value, and we'll multiply this by box to get the exact coordinates on the box, right? So we'll do const y equals to the same thing, right? It's the same thing. There we go. And now we can return this, but we have to return it in an object since we'll be storing this in an object right here, as you can see, right? So we'll do return object. So we need to return x and y. There we go. So this is how it will do. Now the next thing that we have to do is basically write the render function, right? I'm also going to, oops, okay. I'm also going to do that. So we'll do function, we'll make the render function. So this will basically render all the frames. So we have the board, right? So we have the board right here. So we are using that. So board dot inner HTML. So we are clearing the board each time we're rendering it. So we'll do board.innerHTML equals to here, right? Next, we'll use a for loop. So we'll do for I, let I equals 0. And I is snake dot less than snake dot length, right? And I plus plus. So iterating until these snake dot length, right? So this will basically create the snake. Now to do that, we'll do const part of the snake equals document dot create element. So this will create the thing. This will be a div, right? So this will basically create a div element, right? This is basically a div object, you can say. And we can directly put a class name through JavaScript saying part.class, part.class name equals to. Now we'll basically say that I, which is the current value, yeah, right? If it's 0, what we have to do is we can just put snake part and also snake head. These two things, right? We have to put part and the snake. Otherwise, head does not exist because the very first circle is only the head. After that is only just body part and tail. I don't know what you call snakes or the rest of the body part actually. We'll do snake part, right? So this is how it will be. And after this, we're using a ternary operation, by the way. Okay. And after that, we have part.style.left. So left of snake, we can just put snake I, so whatever the part of the snake is, x. I can just do plus. We can just do pixels. So we are putting the left of the snake to be whatever the coordinate pixels is, and same goes for the right. So right, not right, actually top is basically y. There we go. And it's the same amount of pixel. Now we have made the actual container, so we have to append this. So we can just do, we have already created the part div, so we'll push all of this into that. So we'll do, we'll create the board. So we'll push the part inside the board. So we'll do board dot append child, and we can just do, we can send in the part, right? So that will create the thing. That will create the head. Now, before doing all of this, actually, probably a better version that we can do is start to create or like draw the board first, right? So we'll probably do that. So what we have here, or how it will work, right? So we're seeing that, or I can probably just actually. We can probably first style this now that I think about it. I think we can probably style this. Okay, so let's go to the style and probably write all of the styling, and after that we can probably do that, right? So it'll be much more easier and much more less cluttered up. So we're at h1 tag. So next we can do is hold the scoreboard. So we'll do scoreboard with a B, I'm guessing. I hope I put the name right. Sometimes I just make the thing mistake. Yep, scoreboard, there we go. Now for scoreboard is very, very simple. We'll basically make it display inline flex, right? Also do align items, set that to center. Next thing what we have is gap. So we'll gap set that to 8 pixels. Also do font family, set that to the same thing. So I'm just gonna copy this part out, probably paste that there. Next thing what we do is do the font size, set that to around 16 pixels. Also do background color. So background color we'll just do 1C 301C, right? There we go. Next thing what we have is padding. So we'll just do padding. I'm hoping this is working. Just such that. Okay, so this seems to be not working. Okay, it's the container. That makes sense. So for the padding, we'll do 6 pixels and also 16 pixels. Also do border radius. Border radius, set that to about like 10 pixels, I guess. And also do margin bottom. There you go, margin bottom to be around 12 pixels. There we go. I'm hoping this thing is working, right? I don't think it is, which is kind of nerve-wracking here. So we have this scoreboard with this. Oh, I give it a class. My bad. There we go. Oops. And next thing that we have is set the border to be 1 pixel solid, about 3D, 5 3D. So same thing. And there we go. So I messed up the CSS here, and yeah, that is the scoreboard. So we can also set the scoreboard icon. So we can probably just do scoreboard icon, set the color to be the same color right here, right? Makes sense? The next thing we have is the game board. So we'll pull out the game board again. So we'll do game board. Make sure I have put this thing as a thing, right? I'm just making sure if I did mess up, right? So the position, set that to relative because the game board will be relative. And the snake part will be absolute. So that's how we will basically do it. And here we'll basically put this to be box sizing. We'll put this to content box. So this is what will make it will basically make a box, right? We'll set the width to around 400 pixels and height to be around 400 pixels as well. So this is how it will look like. There we go. Right? Next thing what we have to do is probably put the aspect ratio. So aspect ratio of this will be 1:1. So it will be symmetrical, and also puts the max width to be 100%. Next thing is the background color. So background color will have is 1A, 2E, and 1A. So this will be it, right? Like it's kind of not scrollable. There we go. Next thing what we have is border. So we'll do border 5-pixel solid is probably the same color that I used earlier, so I could probably just copy this, paste that there. And the next thing that we have is border radius. So we'll do border radius. I'm just going to put this to be 12 pixels. Also do margin 0 auto. Also do box shadow. Put that to be inset 0, 0, 0. 2 pixel for one color. So we'll just do 36, 56, and 36 right here for one side. Okay, messed up again. And next is 0, 4 pixels, 10 pixels, and RGBA. So that to be 0, 0, 0, 0, and just 0.3 as the alpha value. So this is how it will look like. Now the last thing I need to do is set the overflow to hidden, and there we go. So that is our board, right? Now another thing that we have to do, which we made right here, is the snake part. Snake part right here. So this class right here, we have to make sure to style that. So we'll do snake part, right? We'll just do snake part. Set that position, set that to absolute. Also do width, set that to 20 pixels. And height, set that to 20 pixels as well. Also do background color. Oops. Background color to be 5A, A8, and 5.2. There we go. Last, we can just do border radius. We can just set the border radius property to be around 6 pixels. There we go. Next is snake head, right? So snake head will just have a different background color. So we can just do background color and set that to around 7, E6, and 9. Yeah, so that is the one that we are doing. I have a habit of doing Control S. Okay. And that is pretty much it for the snake head. Next thing what we have to do is make the food. So we have basically made the food. We can probably just render this out actually. Call the render function. I hope it makes the thing. I think it should. We'll see it if it doesn't, right? Now the thing about this is I don't think we have the food function to be. I don't think we have the create food function inside the render. So let's go ahead and quickly do that. So inside the render, right, we have actually not. Let's not call the render for now. So I'm going to do const food food element basically. We can just do document dot create element, and we can just create a img, right? Now we'll use that food element, and first ID for that will be food. So we'll basically make a img tag of ID food. Next is food element src equals to which is the source of the thing. Now I have a image with me. I'm just gonna type, right, upload.wikimedia.org/commons/1/15. I messed up again. 15/red apple.jpg. Now I'm just doing because I'm too lazy to copy paste, I think. Let's copy paste this and see if this is an actual image. So it doesn't seem to be a normal image. Now it doesn't. Okay, it's fine. I see why. Because there is not a dot here. So now let's just quickly check if the thing is working. If I go here, right? to see if that works. This will give me an image of apple. So yeah, so let's go to our code here. So this is working. So next thing we can do is do food element dot style dot left equals to food dot x plus pixels, and do food element dot style dot top equals to food dot x. Basically we are giving the coordinates of left and top, right? So you can do plus pixels. So these are the coordinates for the food, right? We can also put other things like food element dot style dot object, and do object fit and put that to around cover to make sure it is right there, and food element dot style dot border radius equals to 4 pixels. That is it, everything. And I hope I'm doing this correctly, right? And that is pretty much it. So next thing what we can do is, let's say the food, this image does not exist, or there's some sort of error. So in that case, we'll do food dot on error. So if there is an error while, when making this, or if there's an error while doing all of this, what we can do is we can trigger a function right here, which will basically do food l dot on error, set that to null, and we can just do food l dot remove attribute, remove attribute, and we can just do src and food style dot background color. Background color, we can set that to be red. And yeah, so after this we can just append everything. So we'll do board dot append child, and we can just do food now, right? There we go. I'm hoping there is no errors, so let's check if there are any. Expression dot syntax error expression dot. So there's some error here. So one of the things that is clear here, so we can probably we can check that out later when creating it, but for now I think it should be fine. If I go here, we can just call random food, I'm guessing. So yeah, that should be fine. So next thing that we have to do is write the styling for the food. So we'll see if this works. So we'll do food, set the position to be absolute, and also do width, set that to 20 pixels. Also do height, set that to 20 pixels as well. Now here, I think I did some error when giving an ID. So we'll check if I made any mistake here. So let me just go through the code really quick. We have this, we're basically using that. We haven't called the render function. So there we go. If there's an error, right? So there's the render. I hope I didn't call it anywhere else, right? So there we go. So we'll just do that. Let's see after if it does get drawn, right? We'll do food, and last will style the message. Very simple. For message, I'm just gonna, what I can probably do is copy paste everything here of the H1, just change the thing. So it will be same value, right? The font size will be about 16, we'll not have any margin. Or actually, I'll probably do, actually, because since it's also text, right? So you can do 10 pixels, 0, 2 pixels. Also give it minimum height, actually. Minimum height about 22 pixels. And instead of letter spacing, we can give it a color of FF 7B and 7B. So it's a kind of a reddish color. So if I type inside, this will what it will look like, right? There we go. Now, after this message, what we can do is style the start button right here. So we can just do start button and just do margin top, set that to 8 pixels. Also do padding 10 pixels, 26 pixels. Next thing what we have is font family. It will be same as this, so I could probably just copy paste that. Next thing what we have is font size. So font size will be about 16 pixels. Also do background. Background color, set that to around 7B 696F. Also do color, set that to 1A, 2E, and 1A. Next is border, so we'll just do border none. All right, we'll do border none and also do border radius. So we'll do border radius, set that to around 10 pixels, or like it was kind of a thing, so probably make it 20 pixels, probably do like that. And here what we can do is put cursor to be pointer. And box shadow, I'll just do 0, 4 pixels, 0, 4, F9, C46. Next is transition. So we'll do transition, transform 0.05 to ease. So what we're doing here is basically making a transition. So it will basically be put to transform, right? So we'll put it as transform, and what we can do is the transform property will be applied in active. So we'll just first make the hover. So we'll do start button. In hover, we'll just change the background color, not image color, to be around darker. So we'll just do 8 FD and 682. Right, and next thing what we have to do is to start button active. So we'll do active, transform, we'll do translate Y to 3 pixels in active. So active basically means when the button is pressed. When you press a button, you basically trigger a active pseudo class for that, right? And we'll also put the box shadow to be 0, 1 pixel, 0, and add 449F and C46. That is the color, as you can see. So this is how it will look like. So it kind of feels like you're pressing a button, right? The next thing we have is the last thing that we need to do is hint, which is this text right here. So hint, it will be basically very simple. We'll do margin top to be around 10 pixels. Also do font size set that to be 12 pixels. Also do color 9EC and 89E. So that is everything for CSS. So let's go ahead and create the thing. So we'll just go here And let's go ahead and do that. So we have the ID game board. So I'm guessing, oh, so I messed up this thing right here. So we'll do game board. I'm gonna see if there's any other errors here, right? And just do console, right? That should be fine. And next thing that we have to do is probably continue the thing. So we have all of that. Now we will basically write the render function first, right? So we'll just do that. And yeah, that should be fine. So that is it for render function though. XZNY, hello, welcome to the stream, man. How are you? We are trying to make a snake game. So we have random function. So after this, we can just do document dot add event listener. So we'll just pop in event listener here. So we will attach this to a key down. So if you do a key down, right? Key down basically means any of the arrow keys, right? So we can just do change direction, not any of the arrow keys, any of the keyboard press, I think. We'll do change direction here. So we don't have the change direction function, so let's quickly make that. So we'll just do function change direction. We will pass in the event. We'll need the event. Now we'll check if event.key is equals to the arrow left, right? So if it's equal to arrow left and the direction is not equal to right, just do right, we can just simply make the direction to left. There we go. Now I can probably just copy paste this, right? There we go, there we go, there we go. Put a semicolon even though it doesn't matter because of JavaScript, but why not, right? We'll just do arrow up. So if it's arrow up, we'll do, and if we check if it's not down, then we can just do up, right? Next is arrow right. So we'll do arrow right, and we'll check if this is not left. If it isn't left, we can just do right, and you can just do arrow down. We'll check if it's not up, right? So we'll just do down. So that is our function, right? And yeah, that should be it. So we still have that issue. So there we go. And yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. So we'll just do that. That is pretty much it. So yeah, let's move on to another. So I'm just reviewing code if I messed up somewhere, even though the thing should be fine, theoretically that is, right? So that should be, I think that should be fine though. And yeah, that is pretty much it for the thing. So let's go ahead and do update. So the way that this will work is we'll basically render the frame for every like 150 milliseconds. So we'll basically make it so that every 100 milliseconds, it will render one frame. So we have to make an update function. So this is the render function, right? This is the render function that we'll be using, right, to give the thing. Let's just do one thing. There we go. So here, after this, what we can do is make the render functions. I'll make the update function. So we'll do function update, right? We'll do function update. We'll check if the direction does not exist or it's null, right? We'll just do render. We'll call render and just return from the function, right? Next thing what we have is we'll do let head x equals to snake 0 dot x, right? Let head y equals to snake 0 and y. That's pretty much it. So next thing what we have to do is a bunch of if statements. So we'll check if the direction is equals to left. Right, we'll check if it's equals to left. If it is, then we'll just do head x. We'll just do box, right? We'll basically subtract the initial head x from the box, so we'll just make it left. Now what we can do is just copy this. So we'll do copy paste 4 times. So this will be for up. So up, we'll do the same thing. For instead of this, it will be head y, right? Next is right. Right will be for plus, and next what we have is down. It will be for plus as well. So next thing what we have to do is we have to check if the head did a the head is the thing. So we have to check if ate food. So if we have to check if the snake actually ate food. To do that, it will be a simple check when head x equals to food. If the given head x, right, the actual head of the snake, the position of it is equal to the thing, the coordinates of the head is equal to the coordinates of the food. That means it ate the food, right? So we'll just do head y equals to food y, because after it eats the head, or like after it like we have one point, the food has to spawn in another location, you know, and also you also have to increase the tail of the snake. So that's why we need this check. Food y. So we'll do ate food if we'll do score plus plus. Also do document dot get element by id, right? Get element by id. We'll put the score as the text content. We'll just input the score. So we're basically updating score in this right here, right? And also we have to put the food on the random location again. So we'll just do food random again. Next thing we have is const new head equals to x. We'll do head x, and we'll do y head y. Right, until now I think we are good to go. For all of that, right? So it should be fine. We'll check if the thing is working. So we'll just do console.log. I'm just checking if it's working, right? It is not. Probably we have to link it then. I thought we fixed it, no? Don't need this to src. You just probably do that. Now we can just do src to be script.js. See if it works. I don't know if it will. Script. No. Seems not to be working. So I guess you don't have a link. I did say don't have link. I guess I'm right, right? So the other part I got a little bit nervous is the thing. So let's check if it's working. Right. There we go. So we'll do const new head. That is it. Right. Let me drink some water, guys, real quick. And there we go. So after this, what we have to do is do a const hit wall equals to head x. So this will basically check collision. So this will check collision, right? It's very important. So how this will work, it will check if the head x is less than the 0, right? If it's less than 0. Next thing we have to do is we'll check if 0 basically means the starting point right here, right? Next, head x is greater than or equals to the board size. Now we have a board size variable here, right? We'll check if it's equal to that, right? We'll do head y is less than 0, and head y is greater than or equals to board size. Next thing is hit. So we have checked the hit wall. We have checked if the snake hits itself, right? That is also another case. So to do that, it's kind of weird. So we'll do snake, not some. We have to, because we have to check it for every tail, right? What we'll do is part. We'll check if part of the snake is part dot x is equals to the head x. If it is, then and the part dot y is equal to head y. So even if one of the thing is correct, right? And even if one of the things is correct, we can just do hit wall or hit cell. We can just do game over here. Just do return. So we have triggered the game over function, right? We have used the game over function, but that function is not there, so we have to create that first. But before that we do that, right, before we create new function, one thing I realized is we're not inside the update function. Where does this hold up. So there is not any bracket for this. There we go. Right, and also push that to here. Next thing what you have to do is do snake dot unshift. We'll just do new head and just basically check. Another check you have to do is check if it's a snake did eat the food. If it isn't, we can just do snake dot hop, right? And last we can just do render. Now JavaScript does not seem to be working. I am kind of confused why. Here we have, oops, okay, just do that. Oh, okay, so I made a mistake here apparently. in food. There we go. So we'll just do render, and there we go. There is the food, right? Next thing what we can do is we only have to write two functions now. One is game over, right? We have already made majority of things. So we have to render. We have made render update function. Now next thing we have to do is make the game over function. So we'll do game over. We'll do clear game interval. Clear interval. We'll change the game, and we'll do document dot get element by ID, and we'll put get the message. We'll get the message DOM, and we'll put the inner HTML to be so inside the message. I also want a skull emoji, which it's kind of makes sense, right? So we'll just put a skull emoji. So since it's a string, I have to manually type it, so it's fine, right? We'll do class name. Okay, that's not how it's supposed to be. We can do class. Oops, not this. We can do a clef. We probably have to type it manually. It's fine. So we'll do class, and inside this we can do fa solid and fa skull, right? So let's see if this works. So if I type anything in, I don't think it will work because we did have hide it into a game function. But yeah. So we'll just put game over, and we'll give out the final score. The final score is, we'll concatenate two strings for score, and there we go. Now, one last thing I have to do inside this, we'll document dot get element by ID. We'll just do start button, and we'll do style and display. So we'll do style.display. So this will basically select the display property of the start button associated ID, right? Getting that, we can just do inline block. That will basically set that entire button to be inline block. That is it, even though I think we already have done it in case we didn't do it. Now make the start button also start/restart button. So we'll do document dot get element by ID, and we'll just call it start button, and we'll add event listener to it. We'll put a click. Now the most important part I kind of forgot to emphasize or make my teach you guys is collision. So the way it works is we have our 40 by 40, which is 400, not 40 by 40, 20 by 20, 400 boxes, pixels, or grid, what you want to call it, right? So we have to do collision test on a couple of different places. Where it ends here, like this wall right here, this wall right here, this wall right here, and this wall right here. For collision, anytime if the user hits the wall of this container, you have to trigger or stop the game or just trigger a collision. Now to do this, I have created a hit wall variable that will basically check if headx, which is the head of the snake, right? Now head of the snake, is less than this right here, right? If the headx, the position of that is less than 0, that means there is a collision. That means it already has hit. So that's why it's less than 0. Now it's for the left side, right? I can see I'm saying left side is because it's x-axis, so it will be x-axis, right, on the left side. So we have on the same thing as the board size. Now this is 0. Right here is the actual size of the board, right? So basically be 0 to 20. So it'll be 20 right here, right? So here what we have done is basically check if it's greater than that. If it is, then we also have to change that variable. I don't think it's that is 400. Yeah, it's not 20. The individual box size is 20, right? If it's greater than that, we can basically say that there is also a collision here. Same goes for y, which is top, and board size for which is the bottom. Now, that is the one condition to detect collision. Next is what we have, it hits self. So another trigger you can do, or it's done, is when the snake hits itself. Also triggers a game over, or because of that. So we have to check every single part of the snake if the head of the snake is equal to head x, and right. So we have defined the part of the x. If any part of the snake that we have is like part of array, right? Yeah, part of snake. If any of the part of snake is equal, or the coordinates are same as the head coordinates, right? That is also a head self. So that is how it's done. So if even uh, any of the parts do return true, it will basically be true. So that's basically we have checked here, and there we go. I hope you got that right. So any of the part of the snake, if it hits, the snake.sum function will basically return true, and will basically stop at there. Immediately when any of these values or any of these conditions return true, it will basically return true immediately. So that's what sum function does. So after all of that, we can just assign a click, and we can pass a callback function here, right? I can pass a callback function. There we go. And this callback function will get the snake, or we can just set the initialized snake. First, we have to reset, because also reset button to make sure it's reset. So snake is an array, so we can just do array. We can do x9 times box, and also do y equals 9 times box. What we can do is also just probably get these values as well, actually, because it's the same thing anyways, right? And next is let score also be 0, because that's how it works, right? Next is document dot get element by id. We'll basically get the score to be text content. We'll get the score, we'll fill out the score, add score. The next is we can probably just do the same thing, copy this part out, paste that there, change this to message, and we'll put that to empty string. Also, food, we have to make sure to reset that as well, and then we can render. There we go. And do this dot style dot display equals none. So what will happen when you click start button? There will not be start, like the button will disappear, right? And we'll just do clear interval, we'll pass the game, and we'll do game. We have to, as I said, this update function will trigger every 150 milliseconds, right? We have to do game equals to set interval, and we have to update the function 150 times. We'll call the update function every 150 milliseconds. And at last, we'll do a render. So expected token identifier. So we'll check if what is the issue here. So this seems to be issued right over here. Okay, that's why. Where is it? So we'll just do that. So it says unexpected token identifier. So it's basically I used something onto there. So we'll do 62, and we'll do 3 at the line of 304 apparently. Right, so on the here, so in this line right here, so it's game over. So let's go ahead and check what is mistake here. We'll do inner HTML. Did I not give message ID here? I did. So what is the issue? Game over. So we'll just do dot score. Not get element by ID. Did I mess up? I don't think I did. So I seem to have messed up somewhere here, but where? That's the thing. We have this. So doesn't score exist? Of course it does. Do score plus 4 and do style. I can do start button. The start button does not exist. Button, it does exist, right? Start button. Hopefully I did make that, yeah. Get element by ID dot style dot display equals to inline block. That should be it. I don't know what's the issue. Crap. Okay. It says it's right over here, so what if I just comment this part out? So it will work. So this is inside here. What did I mess up here on the game? So we have this game right here. Is it? If I here, still the same thing. So this line is giving me the error, right? So this line here is giving me the actual error. Okay, that's weird. We'll check this in a bit. So I want to make sure everything is working. The arrow keys doesn't seem to be direction is not defined. Okay, so this is infinite loop, so we'll just do clear. Okay, so we'll save the file. So we'll just do project snake game. I don't want to lose my thing. I'm going to make sure that I save it. I'm going to refresh this, right? So make sure the thing is now working. We'll do render. When I click on, I'm just going to full screen. So it says direction is not defined. Okay, interesting. So we have said that direction is null. So, oh, no, direction is null. We should put the direction as null, and if we can do change direction, do I not call this? Key down. So I did call this in the key down, right? So before this, I'm just gonna full screen so it's easier for you guys. So we'll just do key down. So when there's a key down, okay, that's the issue here. There we go. So it still says direction is not defined. That's weird. do save. Okay. Getting on in the loop, which is kind of weird part. So direction. Right, so we need direction, right? So let's do render. So here, what we have done, Yes. So we have an issue here where like direction, it says direction is not defined, even though here. So I'm trying to see what's the issue here, right? So it's not taking my keystrokes. So let me play the game again, actually. See what's the issue. So here, just basically, I can also publish this probably just to snake game. So I have a better understanding. Like that's why I can just. So let's do a publish. Right, so we'll see if what's the issue. So it's continuously saying that there are all types of errors. Okay, so I messed up somewhere. Direction is not defined in direction. So, oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, guys. That makes a lot of sense. Let's go to that statement here and boom. Let's do a quick save, go back here, re-render. And what is the issue now? It still says direction not defined. I guess it's not ready, so we'll just do that. We'll check if this works now. Direction is not defined. Where is the direction? Okay, that is horrible. So I have somewhere in the code I have messed up the spelling of direction. Hold up, so we have direction. Direction. So that all of this is correct. Direction, yeah. Oh, it's the same as this. Okay, so that is the issue here. It's mostly here, right? Save that. If any other places I messed up the spelling of direction. Okay, so save that. Go here. Start the game. So the thing does work. Not taking my arrow inputs, which is weird. Okay, so one of the arrow keys does working. Right, the arrows. Okay, that is working. So it's not working as intended. So we'll have to probably fix the here. So when direction is left, head box should be head x to minus box. Same logic. Let's do head x. So it's still head x. That is probably it was not working. Right. So let's check it. And there we go. So what error? So we have illegal. Wow, that's a lot of errors. But I think this SR is compatible, that's fine. So we'll check if everything's working. So the actual thing is working, right? So let's eat this. The collision with the food is not working. We'll check if why is it not working. So with food, we have is we have triggered when there's 8 food, right? We have done score plus plus. We can do head is equal to the food. I don't know why I put this into the string. There we go. We'll do food and then we'll put a score inside this. And text content equals to score. And yeah, that should be it. So let's go ahead and start. So we'll save that, refresh, and we'll check if the collision is working now. So if I do this, still not. There we go. Collision with food is not working, so it's fine. We can figure that out. Okay. Gonna do food x and head y equals to food dot y. Right. So we have why to draw that. I want to see if there is any error. Okay, that is weird actually. Hold up. So we're saying if ate food, right? So I'm trying to debug this. Hold up. So I'm hoping everything is, we have food variable, right? Yeah, we do. So every time we do food, random food will give me a coordinate of x, y. So we'll check. That is it, right? Here we have that also x, y. This is just draw, it's working, so it's fine. We'll just do left, food, because that should be fine. Cover. I don't think there is issue here because it's just the draw, right? This should be fine. Otherwise, this main thing is collision here. It's not the collision, it's not working. So we'll do fold. It should work. Maybe logic is 74 is not working. 74. This right here. This, unless I did some spelling mistake, that should be fine, I think. Hit x is equal to food, right? And we have head y equals to food. So this is the thing. Can't we check the distance between food and the head? Distance between in food and the head. Uh, it's like it's with a grid, so this should work in theory, but I don't know if I did something wrong here. Because the collision is not dying. There we go. Oh, it did work. Oh, it did work. Okay, there we go. It's kind of laggy. Or am I just, it's just working weirdly onto the thing, right? I think I have issue in drawing. Hold up. So I think I messed up in draw header. So while drawing the food, we'll do food dot, and so we have this, right? So we can do food up. Oh my god, bro. I don't like anything. 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 Okay, I am actually going to punch my monitor. If this works, I'm okay. There we go. There we go. Uh-huh. Yeah, it is working, guys. Yeah, that is pretty much it. Oh my God, it took a really long time to do this. I'm actually okay, guys. That's it for today's stream, guys. I hope you liked me absolutely banging my head on the wall while not figuring out to debug the code. And then that should be it. I'll see you guys in another stream with another project and another banging in the wall situation. Till then, bye bye.